Well, hello guys, Pokeplayer, and today I'm back for another video, and today's video is going to be a special video because I've got a little update for you guys. As you can see on the screen right now, Season 2 of the NUCL. I have won the first season of the NUCL. You should definitely check those videos out. There is a playlist. Check them out. There were good battles, really exciting ones. And now we are in the second season because it was really good. We had a lot of fun in the season, so we decided to do the second one pretty close after the first one finished, which is good. I like that, although I did have quite some problems with school because I had a week full of tests, and you guys saw that I didn't upload at the time, and that was the time when the league kind of started as well. We are already in week 5, I believe, but those videos are coming up soon. I've already received some videos, so you'll see them really soon. But this is just the Season 2 update. I'm going to tell you guys the draft, the Pokemon that I picked, and then let's just start with the first pick. So the first Pokemon that I drafted was Magmortar, and I know fire types are not there are not really a lot of fire types in the two tiers, the NU and PU tier, and I knew that Magmortar was a very popular pick, and I knew that I needed something that could break walls, and Magmortar is definitely something like that. It is a really good special attacker with 125 special attack, but I also wanted something to surprise people. I chose Magmortar because it's a really good mix attacker actually. It has a 95 base attack, which is great. With that 125 special attack, it has a decent speed stat of 83, which means that you can outspeed base 80 Pokemon, which are quite a lot of them in the tier actually. And well, Magmortar has just access to a lot of powerful things like Earthquake, Thunderbolt, which is really good for a fire type, Flare, Blitz, Flamethrower, Fire Blast, and fighting type moves like Mach Punch for some priority, even Belly Drum if I want to get really crazy, but I'm probably not going to do that in the league. But it is just a really good mix attacker, fire type, really good, very popular, and that's why I chose it for my first pick. And the second Pokemon that I drafted was Tauros, and Tauros is a very good mixed attacker as well. I needed something really fast, and I wanted both Magmortar and Tauros as good offensive attackers, and I managed to get both of them, which I was really happy about. And Tauros is just a good normal type, of course, no weaknesses except for fighting, and it reaches the 110 speed set, which is great because max speed you reach the 350 at level 100, I believe, which is really good. It's one of the fastest Pokemon in the tier, and plus the 100 attack stat, which is also good. But Sheer Force, Rock Climb is a really good combination. You can OHKO a lot of things, and I really like Tauros as well because of the Sheer Force Life Orb combination with moves like even Fire Blast to break physical walls like let me see, physical walls like, well, Mawile, stuff like that. You can just break a lot of walls that are good physically defensive but bad specially defensive, and with the Life Orb you will do quite some good damage if you want a bit of special attack investments, which I really like about Tauros. You can get a lot of coverage moves, and especially a lot of special coverage moves like Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, Fire Blast. Let me see, what else do you learn? Water Pulse if you want to go really crazy for something like a Camerupt. And, well, just some really good offensive moves. And I really like Tauros, to be honest. And that's why I chose him, because he's fast and he's very diverse. You can run him in a lot of styles, which I really like. And the third pick was Claydol. And Claydol is just the best spinner in the game, I guess you could say, because it is immune to spikes and toxic spikes, and it resists stealth rocks, which makes it a really good spinner. It has access to rapid spin, of course, and it is really bulky. The only problem about Claydol is that it doesn't have any reliable recovery, which is kind of unfortunate, and it has a lot of weaknesses: water, grass, ice, ghost, bug, and dark. Not all of these weaknesses are very common, but I just needed Claydol because it worked really well with the other Pokemon that I drafted. I had a Tauros, which is weak to fighting, and Claydol resists that. And I also had a Magmortar, which is weak to ground, which I'm immune to, rock, which I'm resisting and water, which I am weak to, which was kind of unfortunate, but still Claydol worked really well on the team. It has a lot of weaknesses, but it is also a good mon with things like rapid spin, stealth rocks, and just a good psychic type with moves like psychic, earthquake, earth power, ice beam, thunderbolt. I believe it learns, it might not, let me see, it learns charge beam, no thunderbolt, grass knot, dazzling gleam. Also a Trick Room Pokemon, not that my team is really Trick Room based, but I could make it a Trick Room team if I would want to. But Claydol just really bulky, 120 special defense, good speed stat for a wall, 75, 108, 105 defense, just a good attacker, or a good wall I mean. And just that's why I drafted it. It's just a wall which worked well on the Pokemon that I had. And the number 4 pick was Pawniard, and Pawniard is a steel type, which are very rare in these two tiers, and Pawniard just fits really well with Claydol. Claydol is weak to grass, ice, bug, water and dark, and Pawniard resists 4 of those 6 weaknesses, which is really great. Pawniard resists grass, ice, ghost and dark, which makes it a really good Pokemon to compare with Claydol. I first wanted to draft Mawile because that fit actually better, because it is a better physical wall, but Pawniard was the second option because it got sniped. Unfortunately enough, this draft was full of snipes. I tried to get a lot of Pokemon and they just got sniped on me, and that was really unfortunate. I was in the middle of the draft and that just didn't work out. So it is not the best draft, I have to admit, but it still works, and that's why I picked Pawniard. It's just a really good Pokemon. With the Firelight, 85 attack, and makes it really good. A great typing, resists a lot of things. It resists 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 types, or at least 9 types, and it's immune to 2 types, which is really good. Things like Pursuit, Sucker Punch, Knockoff, really good. Iron Head, Stealth Rocks, if I want to run that. Just a really good mon. I really like Pawniard. It's great. And the 5th pick, I believe we are at 5th. Yeah, and the 5th pick of my draft was Clefairy. And Clefairy is an amazing Pokemon in the tier. Clefairy is probably the best fairy type in the PU tier. And after Granbull, probably also in the NU tier. And there are not a lot of fairy types in the tier, which is one of the main reasons why I chose Clefairy. Clefairy can be both physically defensive and or defensive. With the Firelight, it is a really good mon. It has access to abilities like Q Charm, like Magic Guard, which prevents stall, which is great because you're immune to status, at least to status that damages you, which is great. I also chose Clefairy because it paired up with the weakness of Pawniard. Pawniard is 4 times weak to fighting, and Clefairy resists that, which is good, very good. And the only weakness that is on the team right now is a water weakness, which I'm going to try and negate with some mons that I'm drafting in the future of the draft, but I'll let them know later on. But Clefairy is just a good one. I can also run Stored Power, Calm Mind on Clefairy. It's pretty cool. Moonlight, Moonblast, of course, is the move that you want to run. Thunder Wave, which is always good to cripple your opponents. Stealth Rocks, Knock Off, Heal Bell. It has just a lot of possibilities, which is great. Wish, if you want to run an Assault Vest Pokemon to heal it back up. It just has access to a lot of good things, which I really enjoyed about Clefairy, and it's just a Pokemon that you can always bring in the team because it only has 2 weaknesses to Poison and Steel, which is great about fairy types. So let's go on to our number 7 pick. And my number 6 pick is Pangoro, and Pangoro is a good fighting type. I really needed a fighting type on my team. It was unfortunate that Pangoro actually has the dark typing as well. It's cool, but I didn't really need it in my team because that meant that I have another fighting weakness. And I was originally going to draft Throw because I really like the bulkiness of Throw. It can always take a hit, which I really enjoyed, but unfortunately it got sniped, which is, well, I got used to it during the draft. But Pangoro is a really good mon. It has access to the ability Mold Break, which is great in league formats because it breaks a lot of abilities like Wonder Guard or Unaware, which is really good. Also Scrappy ability that I'm not really going to use, is not really useful on Pangoro because it's already a dark type. Iron Fist can be really useful if you don't really have to use Mold Breaker. The Fighting Dart type is pretty unique. Only Scrafty has the typing, I believe, after Pangoro. And it you only have 3 weaknesses actually. Fighting, Fairy and Flying. Fairy 4 times, which is kind of unfortunate. But I do have Barnyards to kind of deal with fairies, although it doesn't really deal with it because it's also part dark type. But Pangoro, 124 attack, really good. This is actually a X and Y Pangoro. I didn't mention that quite yet, but that means that you can only run the moves that Pangoro could learn in X and Y and not in ORAS, because it got a lot of good to the moves in ORAS. 95 HP, 78 defense, 71 special defense, which means that it's actually really bulky. It can take some hits. And it has an okay speed with 85. Well, it's faster than most walls, which is what you need. And it learns things, not a lot of coverage moves to be honest, because it is not doesn't get the tutors right quite yet. It learns Crunch, Circle Throw, which is good if you know that your opponent is going to set up with a mon. Storm Throw, which is 80 base power and it always crits. Well, 60 base power with always crits and that turns it to 80 base. Things like Taunt, always useful. Earthquake, Poison Jab, X Scissor, and I think that's about it with what Pangoro can learn. But it is a really good mon, good power, and I needed a fighting type, so that's why I drafted Pangoro. And my number 7 pick is Haunter, and Haunter is a great Pokemon because I really needed a Ghost type and the Ghost types were lacking in the tier, so I drafted the Ghost type and I heard from people that I sniped them really hard because they really wanted the Haunter, which is great. I like sniping people, but Haunter is a great Pokemon. 150 special attack, really good. Good typing, Ghost Poison, although you don't really bulk it out, to be honest. You can run Eviolite, but honestly, I'm not a fan of Eviolite Haunter. You don't really have the bulk. You have 55 SPDF with the Eviolite. That won't be really good. And 45 defense with Eviolite as well. You are immune to a lot of things actually. Normal, fighting and ground, which is good because of the Levitate ability. And I really needed a Ghost type because I was weak to fighting types. And Haunter was available, so that's why I picked Haunter. Haunter has access to things like Destiny Bond. Really useful if you know that your opponent, that you are at low amount of health and you can just get a Destiny Bond off and get another Pokemon with you. Thunderbolt, Psychic, Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Will-O-Wisp, Dazzling Gleam. It learns a lot of cool moves and it is definitely a good Pokemon. A lot of coverage, which I really like about Haunter. Although it isn't that bulky, it is just a good Ghost type that I needed in my team. So that's why I drafted Haunter. And my number 8 pick is Altaria, and of course this is not a Mega Altaria because that's not allowed in NU and PU. We decided to vote in regular Altaria, and I quite liked regular Altaria. Regular Altaria is really bulky on the special side. It has a 105 SPDF stat and a 75 HP stat, which is really bulky. Also a 90 defense stat, which I really liked. Is just a good Pokemon if with a lot of bulk, which I really liked. You can also run D-Dance of course, but I'm not really feeling like doing that, but I just really wanted Altaria because it's a really bulky Pokemon and Dragon type, which are not a lot of in the tier again. And just, it resists a lot of things like fire, water, fighting, bug. I needed another fire resistance of course, because I'm quite weak to it, and a water resistance, which I have in Altaria. Although most water types do learn ice moves, which is kind of unfortunate, but I can always run Yachi Berry or something like that. Also Cloud9, I knew that Skyrender runs a Sand Team, and I really wanted a Cloud9 Pokemon. I was originally going for Golduck, but that got sniped, so I decided to go with Altaria, which is good. And I really like Altaria. It has also access to things like Roar, which I wanted, and Heal Bell. Roost, some reliable recovery, because I don't have a lot of Pokemon with reliable recovery on the team. And just a lot of other just standard moves. Heat Wave, Dragon Pulse, Toxic is always nice, Roost, Roar, Heal Bell, Cotton Guard if you want to go that way, Moonblast, just a lot of cool moves, and it is just a really good Pokemon. So that's why I decided to go with Altaria. And because I still had a little water weakness and ice weakness, I decided to go with Lumineon, a really bulky, well, not a really bulky, but a decently bulky water type, and I really like Lumineon. I love its design. It was one of my favorite and first fish type Pokemon that I used in general. When I started off with Diamond, I used Lumineon, I believe. And it's just a really cool Pokemon. It has access to Defog, which was the main reason why I chose Lumineon. I really needed a defogger. I only had Claydol to remove hazards quite yet, and Claydol and Lumineon together should be able to deal with most hazards, which is good. And Lumineon just a good speed stat, a 91 speed stat, decently bulky, 69 HP, 67 defense and 68 special defense, so it's decently bulky on the special side and also a little on the physical side. You can take really powerful hits, but you can take a few, which I really like about Lumineon. It has also access to things like U-turn, which is great in League format, because you can U-turn out there, get some momentum. Ice Beam, always good. Scald, definitely decent. Also Charm and stuff like that. A really cool one. I really like Lumineon, and it's one of my favorite Pokemon in my draft, to be honest. And it has been doing so well so far. We are on the end of our draft. I had 3 picks left from this point, I believe, and I just needed to gather some typings that I didn't have on my team quite yet. And then I saw Rotom Frost. I never really used Rotom Frost, and I really like Rotom Frost actually. It is a really special Pokemon in the 2 tiers. You don't see a lot of Rotoms around. It is an electric ice typing, which are both typings that I didn't possess in my draft quite yet, which is good. Ice typing is not as reliable as the electric typing, of course, because the only ice type move you get is Blizzard, but still is a powerful ice type move, and you can try and risk that at some point. And well, it is just a good attacker. It's really bulky with 107 on defense and special defense, and good specially offensive with 105 special defense, and it has a good speed set of 86, which means that you outspeed 85 Pokemon, which is great. It is not weak to a lot of things, fire, rock and fighting, but I have enough immunities to fighting. Fire is not really a weakness on my team, and rock is a little weakness, but I can deal with that with Claydol and Pawniard. So I have quite some Pokemon to deal with the weaknesses on Rotom Frost, and it's just another Levitate Pokemon. My team is full of Levitate Pokemon, which is really funny, to be honest. I have Altaria, it's not a Levitate Pokemon of course, but it's a flying type. I've got Claydol, what else did I have? A Haunter, a Rotom Frost. I just have a lot of fighting types, so ground types are not really good on my team. But just a good Pokemon. You can also run Will-O-Wisp, Pain Split. You can do quite a lot of things with Rotom Frost, which I really liked about it. And I just needed the typings. And my number 11 pick was Tangela, and Tangela is a cool Pokemon. I still needed a grass type on my team, and I needed something with reliable recovery. Tangela gets, what is it again, Synthesis, and just things like Giga Drain and Leech Seed, which is great. And Tangela is just such a good defensive wall. It is not as good on the special defensive side, but it is really decent on the physical side. 115 base defense without any Fire Light, which is great. 100 special attack, which is also good, because that means that you can regain a lot of health back with Giga Drain, because you have a good special offensive stat. It also has the Regenerator ability, which is always good. Regenerator pokes are really good and hard to deal with, especially Tangela. And if my opponent has a lot of physical attackers, I will definitely bring Tangela, because it can deal with physical attackers really good with that 115 base special or 15 base defense stat, which is great. Also access to things like Knockoff, Giga Drain, Leech Seed or Sleep Power, which is also good because you need to put some Pokemon to sleep at some point. And it's just a really cool attacker. I really like Tangela, and I'm definitely not regretting this pick, because this was just a good addition to my team, even though I had not a lot of picks left. So what is my last pick, guys? What will it be? And my last pick is Apom. Of course, this is just a banter pick. I had a full team. I didn't really need any extra Pokemon. I had most typings that were available, and I just wanted to grab a little mascot Pokemon, and that's Apom. Of course, it's not Ambipom, my mascot, but Apom goes as well. I really like Apom, one of my favorite Pokemon. especially together with Ember Bomb. They are really cute and it's just a band pick. I might use it in a battle. I haven't used it quite yet because it didn't really work in the teams quite yet. It just lacks power, 670 base attack, it's not really good. But still a cool Pokemon. It has fake out, so I might use it at some point, but probably not. It's just Badminton. So this is the team photo, guys. It took me a while to take this picture, of course, because these Pokemon didn't want to stand still, but there we go, the team photo. I like the draft. There are a lot of cool Pokemon. I like the synergy in my draft. We have some common weaknesses, but we have a lot of Pokes that persisted. I have an ice weakness in things like Tangela, Altaria and Claydol, but I also have things to resist that, like McMortar, Barnyard, Rotom Frost, and Luminion, and of course a fighting weakness in Barnyard, and let's see what else, Barnyard, Tauros, Rotom Frost, Apom, and Pangoro, but of course I have some resistances. Tangela can deal with fighting types, Altaria resisted, and Haunter resisted, Clefairy resisted, and Claydol resisted. Which is great. So honestly, there are some common weaknesses, but a lot of pokes that can deal with those weaknesses. So I quite like the draft as it looks so far. Not a lot of power, but quite some bulk, and I really like it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to check out the NUCL. I will leave the link of the sheet in the description below, so you can check out the teams of my opponents and the other people in the league. Make sure to check them out as well. I won't link all of them in there because that's a lot of work and I'm lazy, but still check them out. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Support the Amsterdam Amber Bombs, and then I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.